What's happening, everybody? Jay Shockblast here, and man, my Twitter's been blowing up all day with people asking me questions about the Lego Marvel's Avengers panel from a video game Expo MCM, something like that, out in England today. TT Games' Arthur Parsons partook, showed off parts of a Korea level from Avengers Age of Ultron, and showed off a little bit of gameplay from some characters we haven't seen before. And then, there was a Q&A, and good for the crowd. They asked lots of very important questions, and I've got a lot of thoughts on it. And I want to start off by saying I have a lot of respect for the people at TT Games. All of them are awesome. They chat with their fans. They're very responsive. You'd like to think that they listen to their fans. I'm going to just cover some of the cool stuff first because I have a lot to say about some of the things that I just don't agree with. And I feel like it's important to be critical, okay? You can't just be a fanboy all the time, which is, trust me, is what I want to do. I want to be a fanboy all the time, but we're in a very crucial early stage, early enough stages of the process where they're not even done developing the game. They don't even have their full character lineup, So as far as I'm concerned, now is the time to make sure that we are campaigning as much as we can to get every character that we want considered in the game. And included in that, my buddy Dennis on Twitter hit me up with a change.org petition to get 3D Man in the game. So I'll go ahead and I signed it because, why not? I remember him from the Avengers, kind of like, what was it? It was after Civil War. So, the initiative, I guess, is what it was. He was part of, like, the Avengers Academy. Anyway, so, I mean, like, stuff like that, this is our opportunity. They seem like they're going after a lot of characters. I think the words Arthur used today were, they want to look at this game through Avenger glasses. And that's cool. That's fine. So let's just make sure we get as many Avengers in the game as possible. And I'm going to come back to that. It's really important to me to talk about a few characters that they keep saying are not going to be in it. So, first of all, in the game, he showed some really cool gameplay. We got to see Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, in action. Obviously looks a lot like Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four, who Arthur would not even say by name, which I thought was hilarious. Got to see Devil Dinosaur, which, it looked like a T-Rex from Jurassic World. Not shocked to see that. But there is going to be a Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur comic coming out. If it's not even out, it might even be out already. Not characters. There is Moon Boy is in the game. Much to my disappointment, if you look at the bottom of the screen, actually, right here, you can see I have a little screenshot I took on my phone. That is the character grid that they were working with today. I'll talk about that in a second. I screen grabbed that while I was sitting at breakfast at a diner. I was out to eat for breakfast. I was on my way to a couple stores and my favorite breakfast place called Lou Rock's in Worcester, Massachusetts. And I'm just sitting there eating breakfast, watching the stream. And it's an amazing world we live in because, not only that, but, after that I was sitting on my phone watching the Jaguars-Bills football game from London on my cell phone. Thank you, Marty McFly. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get back to the topic at hand. Devil Dinosaur and Moon Boy, they're both in the game. I thought Moon Boy was going to be Wolverine or Beast. If you kind of look real quick, you can kind of get the aversion that it is them because of the hairstyle. But alas, no, it's Moon Boy. We've got Agent Carter. We saw Agent Carter. They talked a lot about Agent Carter. I guess Haley Atwell was in to do some voiceover work this past week, or maybe that was Clark Gregg. Either way, they were in to do some voiceover work recently, and obviously Haley being from England, I would imagine, the national pride. You want to kind of focus on some characters that are from your area, and that's pretty cool that, it looks like Agent Carter is going to have a lot of stuff we can do in the open world. There's even like an open world area of Agent Carter era, kind of probably going to remind us a little bit of the Wizard of Oz, Kansas area, hopefully with a little bit of that vintage feel. They showed Scar in game with Hulk. That's kind of cool. Crimson Dynamo, they actually announced him. So obviously a big enemy of Tony Stark. That's a great choice. Maybe not the most popular character in the world, but I'm thrilled that Crimson Dynamo is in the game. That would have been one of those types of characters that really fits the bill as a new character to the game. Cottonmouth, another new character they showed off, another great choice. Archon, I have absolutely no idea who Archon is whatsoever, but they did promise there would be characters like that. Gorilla Girl, which, whatever. I have no idea who that is either. And, it'll be a fun, interesting character. Kids game, you get it. The coolest character they showed today was Fing Fang Foom. Now, I'm not like a big Fing Fang Foom fan or anything, but looks awesome. It's a big fig that flies, shoots fire. I mean, it's a really cool looking character. So, not nearly to scale, but I'll take it because I really thought it was just a really, great take on it. Great opportunity to get that type of a character in the game. So, really happy with that. A lot of people were talking after the last showing, I think at New York Comic Con, that Jessica Jones and Daredevil and the Netflix stuff wasn't going to be in the game, but they showed Jessica Jones and Daredevil today. Well, I don't think they showed Daredevil in game, but you could see him in the grid along with Moon Knight. So Luke Cage also confirmed. Those characters, they're just going to be their comic form, which makes sense. Their version from the Netflix series, obviously a little too mature for kids, and I completely respect that stance that they're taking. Thanos is playable. That was kind of confirmed. Some other things that kind of stuck out to me as I was doing the whole play pause thing whenever he was scrolling through the list, and there were characters that he was kind of blowing by and didn't mean to show. But there was a Loki in a suit and tie, and obviously a regular Loki. There was a Dr. List, who I do not know. I don't know who Dr. List is. I'm going to go ahead and Google that. I probably should have done this before I started recording. Dr. List is Prime Figureheads in Hydra. So there we go. They also showed Egghead, which, whatever. That's the type of character that we're going to see in there, and that certainly makes sense. I don't have a problem with Egghead being in there. So I guess that kind of covers as best I can remember, all the type of character stuff. I left one out, and I left it out purposely. Mantis. Now, I'm not a big fan of Mantis as a character per se, but what I loved about it is at the time I was watching the stream without being able to listen to the audio. Again, I'm in the middle of a big busy diner and everything. I didn't want to turn it up too loud, and I work for a headphone company, but I didn't have any headphones with me. So, it is what it is. I was really just watching it just for something to watch while I was eating my breakfast, which Meat Lover's omelet with hash browns and cinnamon raisin toast, in case you're curious. Fantastic. Mantis is a member of Guardians of the Galaxy. So I was thrilled to see that in full Guardians outfit because, again, Lego Marvel's Avengers. So I've been afraid that they were going to leave out so many amazing characters, and fine, I'm resigned to the fact, you know, they're not going to focus on any X-Men characters, whatever. All right, I think it's a bad choice, but not my choice to make. At the same time, I still support people wanting them. I think we all want our favorite characters in the game, and I'll get back to that. I'm going to get back to that. So, you know, there's a couple things that he mentioned throughout the questions, and one of them was the collector is involved, and he gives us red bricks in the levels. So, and there's an open world area of nowhere. So obviously, with all of that, we're going to need, you know, members of the cosmic universe, some Guardians of the Galaxy, if you will. So Mantis is one of them. Obviously, I'm assuming they picked Mantis because it was a character that hadn't been used before, female character. I believe Mantis is a girl. So I'm really looking forward to who else they're going to use. He said that there probably wouldn't be all of the Guardians, and okay, that's fine. If you want to leave out Drax, you know, Gamora, whatever. But I really kind of feel like Star-Lord really needs to be there, Rocket Raccoon really needs to be there, and Groot really needs to be there. You know, I'd like to see Gamora and Drax and whatever, but I mean, I really feel like, you know, those characters, you know, just really, really need to be there. Especially if you're going to have Nowhere. I kind of feel like Cosmos is probably going to be there. It makes a lot of sense to be a really fun character. You know, they've done, like, honestly, like, I absolutely lambasted Ace the Bat Hound and Bat Dog or whatever they were called, or Crypto and all that. Like, but Cosmos is different, me think. Because Cosmos is like a legitimate fun character that, like, actually does stuff in the comics if you kind of follow. So I really think that's going to be a choice that they go with. That's a prediction, obviously, but, you know, Moondragon would be interesting to have Moondragon in there. Quasar, you know, some of these characters that are cosmic that haven't been in games before. So I'm not advocating any of them. I'm just saying, you know, it makes sense, you know, because there's going to obviously be missions to do on Nowhere. So, you know, you might as well include them in everything. So I think that's all the fun stuff. You know, I don't understand their stance on a couple things, okay? There's a contradiction going on that really kind of, it's alarming. So the obvious question was, is Deadpool going to be in the game? And Arthur looked a little uncomfortable about it. So I don't know if these are all just diversions or whatnot, but I'm going to take it as legitimate. You know, I'm going to take it as sincere. And I'm not going to stop saying it's an awful, awful decision. He said in light of a recent comic, you know, they decided not to go with Deadpool. And this is I'm paraphrasing. I think it's almost verbatim. I tried writing everything as he was saying it, and I went back to try to get it. So I don't know if it's word for word, but it's close. This is exactly what he said. We didn't want to go somewhere we had already been. There are other characters that provide that comedy. And to me, that's an awful answer. Let me take that back. That's an awful reason. All you have to do is put Deadpool in the game, okay? You know, you don't have to give him lines. Just make him a playable character. I mean, yeah, of course, it'd be great if you gave him lines and everything, but I don't understand why. Like, this is a game, and TT, let me take this back. They've done an amazing job of listening to their fans. They had a free DLC that they added to Lego Batman 3 that was literally put in there because everybody was begging for certain characters to be in the game. Not many companies are going to do something like that. So this is one of my 2 levels of frustration, you know, with TT Games, is that they do such a great job of listening to their fans, but sometimes I feel like they get dead set in what they want in spite of themselves. And there's two situations that I can think of that kind of, follow that. Number one would be, this one here, if they're really going to keep smashing a square peg into a round hole and leave Deadpool out of the game. And number two, online co-op. Like, nothing was asked about that today, but I just feel like that one especially, that's my biggest disagreement area when it comes to Lego games, is the fact that they are so adamantly against online co-op, in spite of the fact that everybody wants it. Everybody wants it. Now, their thought process is, this is a couch co-op game. We want you to have that experience, but unfortunately, it's not 1985 anymore. Okay, it's 2015. It will be 2016 next year. So, that's my second Back to the Future reference, by the way. So, I mean, this is where we are today. We have Xbox Live, we have PlayStation Network, there's Steam, there's all these different resources to play these games online. The way that people play video games has changed. And I respect the fact that you want people to play on, together in person, but that's not possible for everybody. I cannot tell you how many times I've wanted to play with my brother in Florida. Not only that, if they had online co-op, I would take as many people possible and stream live almost every night with people that wanted to play the game with me. I can't tell you how many times I've had questions, like people send me messages on Xbox Live asking if I would play online in Marvel's Avengers or Marvel Superheroes or Lego Batman 3 with them, and I stopped answering people and saying there's no online co-op. You can't do it, just because they want people to sit next to each other while they play. Well, you know what? That's not always an option, especially for people that aren't the kids that are playing this game. And I hate to break it to you, that there's way more than just kids playing this game. There are lots of people that are adults. There are people like me that by the time this game, actually 1 week from yesterday, 6 days from now, October 31st is my birthday, Halloween. I will be 35 years old. So when this game comes out, I will be a 35-year-old, playing another Lego game. And that's okay, because I feel like these games are meant for everybody. But I really think it's short-sighted, and I think it's a little bit of arrogance in a way to keep saying, no, we want you to play it this way. At some point you have, and look, they're not going to lose a single sale because, people aren't getting online co-op. Not going to lose a single sale at all. All right. And I don't know if they'll gain any sales by adding it. So, for them, it's like, why spend money on the tech if we don't have to? But I don't know. It just seems to me like a bad reason to make a decision. I mean, forcing your ideals on people just doesn't sit well with me. Like, I guarantee you, in the comments below will be tons of people that are saying, I want online co-op. Like, I'm not going to start a petition over it, but I mean, it's a really huge thing for me. Like, I would stream, like, I don't stream very much at all, but like, I know that people would want to play the game with me, and I would do it all the time if I could play this game, online with people, just kind of running around doing whatever. It's such a missed opportunity, to make a game that I already feel is, the pinnacle of fun, that much more fun. My buddy Lego Alex out in Italy, or Dennis, who did the petition. I think he's in the Netherlands, like, be able to play online with them. I can't go to Italy and sit on Alex's couch with him, like, or Ben Lipson, who comments all the time. He's in England, like, I can't go sit on his couch. I don't have, I'm in Massachusetts in the US, like, I just, sure, if I've had friends come over, but we've never, like, the only time I've ever done co-op is if my brother Eric happened to be here and he wasn't in Florida, and we were making a video together, and that's the only time we ever play co-op ever. Like I don't actually play the game co-op because there's no point. It's such an underutilized option, and if you could do it online, it would be so much better. Now, this didn't even come up at all, but like the way that they're treating Deadpool right now reminds me of how upset I get whenever somebody asks Arthur about online co-op and they say no. Like, I kind of keep my comments to myself most of the time, but I just really I don't understand it, It's not something I understand. So I really don't understand why you would take a character that is Marvel Comics' most popular character that fits through that Avengers glasses view and not have him in the game. It doesn't make sense. Deadpool is the type of character that these Lego games are all about. Now, I'm not saying you have to reuse him for the red bricks like you did before, but he should be a free roam character, Like, there's no reason why he shouldn't be. The big complaint I had about Marvel superheroes is you don't get Deadpool until so far in the game that, I barely used him. The only time I ever really used him was if I was making videos and I wanted to run around with him. By the time I actually unlocked Deadpool, I was almost done playing the actual game. And yeah, I could probably go back and do things, but when I have every single achievement and every single character unlocked, there's not a ton left for me to do other than make some videos that you guys want to see. And I get that, I enjoy that, but, I really feel like Deadpool is a very important character to Marvel Comics, to the Marvel Universe, to the Avengers, since he is an Avenger now, and most importantly, to the fans. And this is one that'll haunt you because this is going to be one that everybody asks about. Deadpool, like, I would just hate to see them. If it's a licensing issue, it doesn't make sense to me because you were able to put him in another game. Like, I don't see it as a licensing thing. I can't see how it would be. I would think you guys would have free roam or free reign of whatever characters you want to have. Leaving out the X-Men, alright, cool, whatever. Like, I get it. Wolverine, like, he's been an Avenger plenty of times, but fine. They almost definitively said today, no, Wolverine won't be in the game. But the hypocrisy a little bit, though, with Deadpool is, we didn't want to go somewhere we had already been. So later on, somebody asked him if Stan Lee in Peril was going to be back. And the answer was yes, Stan Lee in Peril is back. So why is it okay to go back to that, but not even put Deadpool in the game? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you've already got Stan Lee very well represented in the game, so why are you going to do Stan Lee in Peril, Why can't we try to save, Agent M or something else? They could have done something else similar to Stan Lee in Peril, but, with another character, but so they're going back to the wheel there, but not Deadpool. And again, I like the idea of the collector having all the red bricks and you have to unlock them with him. That's great. I'm not saying you have to have all those little side levels where, you get the red brick, from Deadpool and everything. No, you don't have to do that at all. I don't see that as an issue whatsoever. That's not, you don't have to do that again. But why can't he just be in the game? He is an Avenger now. You've said that you still have time to get him in there. I don't care if you reuse all of his lines again. Like, I really feel like Deadpool should be in this game. It's inexcusable to me and it's irresponsible to me to not have Deadpool in this game. They as a company, like, make a lot of decisions for the fans. And the fans are begging you for Deadpool. Again, I can't emphasize enough. He is the current reigning, defending world heavyweight champion of Marvel Comics. He is their it guy. You know, there is nobody more popular than Deadpool right now. He may even be, you know, Batman level. Like, he might be the most popular character in all of comics right now. Like, on the level with a Batman. Like, that's how big Deadpool is. And we're going to leave him out of the game. That doesn't make sense. So another one that doesn't make sense is Spider-Man. Like, you know, there's a couple things that they asked about characters that haven't been announced yet that I think will absolutely have to make their way in. And Arthur kind of hedged on them a little bit. And, you know, I think it was Ant-Man. Like, I mean, come on. They got to have Ant-Man in there. And Miles Morales. So, like, I don't see any way that Miles Morales isn't in the game, all right? But Peter Parker, like, if you're going to put Miles Morales in the game, you got to put Peter Parker. He's not an original Avenger, but, I mean, my God. Like, he is an Avenger. Like, he's, like, the epitome of the Avengers, you know? And these are, like, two of the most popular characters, and you're going to leave them out. Wolverine, fine, all right? Mostly associated with the X-Men. I can live with that one. But Spider-Man and Deadpool, you can't leave them out. So there's a lot of hope that I do have, though. And I'm hoping that it has something to do with one of the questions somebody asked about DLC. He wasn't touching that one. He wasn't even going to confirm there was going to be DLC. But that's the perfect scenario that you can bring in a character like Deadpool and whatever. You know, you're focusing on the Avengers. We'll have the DLCs be, you know, a Deadpool DLC where you can have the whole Deadpool team. You know, Lady Deadpool and Deadpool the Kid and Pirate Deadpool and stuff like that as part of one of the short, quick DLC level packs, you know? I would be okay with that, I guess. I'm not even asking or advocating for that. I just want the one Deadpool to be in the game. But, you know, there's a great idea, and you know, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was brought up. You know, that would be a great little DLC. You know, obviously, I don't see any way that Ant-Man's not in this game. I mean, I feel like Arthur really kind of buckled under pressure there because he was asked, and he kind of, like, you know, hemmed and hawed his way through the answer, which, look, with all the stuff that has been announced, I don't know that I could perform any better. Like, honestly, like, he pretty much had a good poker face going, but I just, you know, I don't want to be negative. I really don't, but I don't think I would be doing my job. I don't think I would be very responsible as a fan that has a voice that some people listen to. I'm not sitting here trying to put myself up there and say that I'm, you know, the biggest voice out there, but I'm not afraid. I'm not going to kiss ass for the sake of doing it, you know? Like, I love them at TT. I love the work they do. I think this game, I already can tell you this game is like a 10 out of 10, you know, fun level. It's going to be amazing. We're all going to love it. I'm not threatening to not buy it, you know, none of that. But, you know, Deadpool and Spider-Man and these, they are the Avengers. There's no two ways around it. They are Avengers. They've got to be in this game, you know, like, at some point, you know, they're saying there's going to be almost 200 characters, over 200 characters. They plan on, you know, 100 of them having never been seen before. All right, cool. That's great. No problem. I'm completely okay with that. You've got to raise the prestige of characters somehow, but there are characters that are the epitome of the reason you're able to make a game called The Avengers. Spider-Man is one of those reasons, and, you know, Deadpool, I wouldn't say he's one of those reasons, but, like, he is like the Marvel Universe right now. He's like the it character, and you know, people want to play as him. Like, I guarantee you that 97% of the people that buy that game are going to want and wish that Deadpool was in the game. Like, it's just going to happen, you know? So, I'm really excited for the game. I can't wait for January 26th. I just... Today was a disappointment, though. Like, I didn't really see anything that was for me. And that's fine. You know, not everything has to be for me. But I'm sad. And I'm afraid that... I'm hopeful that this is all just smokescreen. Like, I really hope more than anything that they're just saying all these things because, you know, they have a marketing campaign, they have a plan, this is what they're trying to do, and announcing it right now doesn't fit that plan. Maybe it's a super cool, you know, shocking, you know, unlock that you get in the game, and they want to keep it under wraps. Okay, that's fine. But I'm just really afraid that it's not, you know, because and that's why I spent so much time talking about online co-op, because, you know, they've proven that, you know, they will be very stubborn in their ways and just do things in spite of what really is the right decision, you know? Like, I really don't understand why. I really feel like they really need to listen to the fans on this one, and they've done such an amazing job of it in the past, and they really need to listen and understand that Deadpool, Spider-Man, just gotta suck it up and put them in there. So I made it through almost 32 minutes without mentioning Darkhawk once, by the way. I'm still advocating Darkhawk using Avengers Academy, that stupid comic that had Murder World. So as far as I'm concerned, that's your in to put Darkhawk in the game. You know, I'm sure Sam Alexander is going to be in the game. I'm resigned to the fact that Ryder's not going to be in the game. But you know, Darkhawk, I promise you, if Darkhawk ends up in this game, I am going to claim 100% responsibility. It will be all on me. We want Darkhawk, an amazing looking character. Let's do it. I'd love to know what you guys think. I know this is a long video, but it's important to me to say everything that I can. I recorded it. The gameplay, I have no idea what's going on in the gameplay behind us. I recorded the video without gameplay for once because I really wanted to focus on what I wanted to say. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you later. See ya!